It takes two hands to clap.
Hey, we didn't find that.
On the first try without even practicing that.
Now, in today's show, we're talking about quite a few things. We're going to kick it off with something that's near and dear to my co-host's heart. But it's the transfer of one Mason Mount to Manchester United. We were talking just before £55 million. It was?
Yeah, with 5 million add-on.
With some add-ons. Mr. Chelsea, through and through, is now a Red Devil. And a lot of Chelsea fans, from what I've seen, are like, screw him, traitor, snake. I saw the viral video with those kids like pissing on it and stepping on it and burning the t-shirt on fire. Well,
I was one of those kids.
He was not.
I shaved.
Mason, if you're watching this show, he was not. All right?
I was not. No, I was not Mason.
Chelsea fans have been upset. Like I said, some people have kind of been like, whatever. Like, they've been angry, frustrated with him. Other people, it's an academy guy, so they feel some kind of pain.
Okay, so sorry, just the way you ended with the some kind of pain thing really threw me off there.
Fake laugh, hiding real pain.
But okay, I think from a Chelsea perspective, fan perspective, you can only feel one thing, which is disappointment and upset by the way it was handled from Mesa, right? But I have a completely different point of view on the entire scenario than what I think most Chelsea fans have been expressing. And I know you have something that we're going to go through in terms of a timeline of the series of events that really evolved in terms of his, leading to his departure. And I think I will kind of get into it a lot more in terms of my perspective on it, because, like I said, it differs from what I would have heard other Chelsea fans saying. And I don't know if you're going to give me credit here, but I feel like it's a maturity thing.
Oh my God! What? This is the best show we've done so far, guys.
If it's maturity you want, maturity you will get.
So on that note, all right, so I'm going to break down. This is from The Athletic. If you have a chance to subscribe to The Athletic, they do great work. They kind of broke down basically the entire timeline of the breakdown relationship. We'll use this to kind of get an idea of where we are, and then I'm actually very, very excited to hear your very unique and mature perspective. First off, Mount not offered a contract by Roman Abramovich. Todd Bowley speaks to Mount directly after joining, discusses how central he is to the project from a sporting, commercial, marketing point of view. A new deal was a priority for Bowley, right?
Am I allowed to interject as you go along, or you want to go?
Okay, yeah. Perfect. So as we go through the time, look at us figuring out this show live, guys.
That's growth. That's progress.
As I go through the timeline, pop in with anything you want to see.
So the Mount felt he was underpaid is a fact, right? He was underpaid. He literally was making less than 100K a week, which is nothing compared to some of the other players. Like Reece James renegotiated his contract and was way more than that. So I knew that was like a real sour topic for him. There were two players who grew up in the academy. There were two integral players coming through youth system. And I think completely like the two biggest fan favorites, because like I said, they are Chelsea. They bleed blue, or bled in this case, because one of them does not anymore.
So he's underpaid, and he pointed to Sterling and Koulibaly specifically as reference for the kind of contract he wanted. The club then decided to kind of, Bowley was doing all the suffered contracts. They decided to go into a new direction with incentive-based contracts, Champions League qualification, appearances, all that stuff. Obviously, Chelsea didn't have a good season, so all of a sudden, incentive-based contracts seem a little iffy. Reece James quickly agreed to a new long-term deal, right? And that made negotiations more difficult because, like I said, exactly, Mount is referencing that too.
And
right?
Reece James agreed to that pay cut if there was no European football, just FYI. So that already made it difficult because Mason did not agree with that clause at all. Reece, boy, and Reece is my boy, but you do Mason dirty there.
Ooh!
However, you're still my favorite Chelsea player for sure. So Mason,
come on, the series. they were close to a verbal agreement between Mount and Bowley in November. Bowley wanted to go to Qatar before the World Cup to get it signed. Mount said, no, I want to focus on the tournament. Chelsea felt he may have been banking. Oh, this getting a little tricky,
Spicy.
a little sordid, a little dirty. Chelsea felt that Mason Mount was banking on a great World Cup to boost his value. And purposely stalling negotiations.
And boy, did that backfire.
Right. When he returned from the World Cup, there were no more direct talks with Bowley at all. And Mount's team basically saw that and they went back to square one.
In the new contract that was offered to Mason,
right,
the wages were rumored to be up to 200,000. So they did increase the overall wage. Rumored to have increased it to 200,000, which is more in line with what he was expecting based on, the other offers that were on the table for the other players, aka my boy Reese. Hey Reese, come on the show now, boy. Come on the show. You're my favorite still.
They pointed to poor form as a reason for not paying him the same or more than Reese. Mount agreed on poor form, but cited an unsure future as one of the reasons for his poor form. Right? Can't really play if you're not settled. So they say. Chelsea offered 1 year, £200,000 a week deal to take pressure off negotiations, but Mount saw this as a way to raise his value in case of a sale. Mount felt they were pushing him out, that they gave him a sign this or leave in the summer ultimatum, as they wanted to avoid Anthony Rudiger situation yet before Rudiger goes to Real Madrid on a free, because they can really agree a contract. And finally here, Chelsea felt like Mount made the decision to leave already, and because of that, negotiations never resumed. So it's almost like a bad relationship where both sides are kind of feeling the other side is doing something, and they may have been. And that just led to the ultimate breakdown. It almost seems, reading this, like it was destined to happen, because no side here to me ever really seemed to make the real effort in good faith to say, okay, let's make this happen.
So, thank you, which brings me to Mr. Maturity over here, right? And that is why I'm wearing a bandana today. Whenever you see me with a bandana, it's one of two things. Either a mature veer is coming out or commotion in the place. Bacchanal veer. In this case, is maturity. Okay, so it takes two hands to clap.
Hey, we didn't plan that.
On the first try without even practicing that.
Impressive.
Right? That cannot be cut from the show. That has to stay.
But this will have to be cut now, thanks.
Okay. So it takes two hands to clap. Sorry. And this is the maturity part. It's easy for me to look at it as, because it's a business, right? And when you look at it from like a business standpoint, it's easy to fall out of love with a situation or a job, for example. So for Mason, even though he grew up in Chelsea, obviously he loved it. I'm assuming that he loved it for the majority of the time that he was there. He was a Chelsea boy for life. Things change. Leadership changes. The dynamic then changes. And the environment will therefore change. And therefore, the team or the club that he fell in love with is not the same club that he is playing for at the time. And if they're in a situation where he feels like they are trying to get him out, which there may be some truth in, there may not, but if that is his feeling, and they felt that he wasn't trying to be there anyway, then it was inevitable, first of all, but also it's also understandable if you step back and look at the situation from a standpoint of, it's not the same place. It's completely different. They're different people. There's a different owner. There are different people in charge. There's a different coach. There's a different system. There are different players, completely different players. Like, it's a different situation. So, like, you cannot blame him for not wanting to be in it. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, it's not the same place that he would have grown up in and fallen in love with. It's a different place. So yeah, that's my perspective on it, right? It's a relationship that's gone sour. But if I step back and look at it from both sides, I understand why it never resolved. And again, I understand it from the Mason side. What I don't agree with is how he treated with it after. Because at the end of the day, football is passion. Fans are very passionate, especially about a homegrown player like himself. Like, if you spend 3 years there, you still have respect for the club. Look at Aspilicueta. Have you seen the video of Aspilicueta saying goodbye to Chelsea?
Yeah, come on. Of course.
And
I mean, that's Dave too, right? That's Dave.
exactly. The timing of that couldn't be more perfect for Chelsea fans
To
to
have a
amplify how much they hate Mason Mount, because you could see the passion and love that Aspilicueta had for the club, which is crazy because again, he's not a homegrown player, but you could tell that he is deeply rooted and connected to the team. He's
Yeah.
been the club captain and he's won everything there. And that's how everybody expected Mason Mount to act, which is not how he did. And I think that is where the gripe is really in his actions after. But I understand, like I said, his perspective on why the relationship fell apart and why he left.
It's gonna be interesting to see his reception
Mhm.
when United come to the bridge next season.
I mean, it's not going to be surprising. We all know what's going to happen. Boo. Boo. Come, on
Let's
three,
see.
on three. One,
Let's
two,
see.
three. Boo. And that's what the viewers, all 5 of them, are going to do when they watch this episode.
They just clicked off. They just, if they're here still, they clicked off.